I wanted to do a real cute explosion.
Oh.
Pew, 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 pew.
Like a little Japanese cat explosion. Voice of the Republic, back in your ears. This is Ed.
This is Mike.
And this is still Carl.
Awesome. And that's still Trace.
Hi.
Yes.
I moved over slightly.
I have a special tribute for our guest.
Oh, this is where it gets creepy.
Hmm? Very nice.
All right.
Very nice. Mine's died. My fire died.
Oh, your fire went out.
You've been here for so many days. You're out of wood. You can't. No more fire.
God, I need a
Please,
bigger
nice
phone.
internet guys, let me go. I won't tell them where you live. Let me go, please.
You've seen our faces. You know too much.
I don't remember your face. I don't remember.
Oh, believe me, dumbass. I'm not gonna remember your face.
All you white hillbillies look the same to me. That's what I always used to say in the shop. Like, people would come in, like, buy a video game, and like, yeah, you remember me? I'm like, dude, all you white guys with the shaved head and the MMA T-shirts, y'all look the same to me. What are you talking about?
I mean, there's more than one of those guys?
Apparently, I thought it was just one guy that just went everywhere, but I guess there's more than one. I don't know. So
It's like a yokel factory, just kind of like, boop, just pops them out. Right?
In southeastern Ohio, man, they pop out like that. Like, they're born, and there's like, here's your MMA T-shirt. Don't grow any hair. Good.
I want to animate that factory where they just pop out and they raise their arms and here comes the MMA. The hat. What would be the hat?
It'd probably be like a baseball team, like the New York Yankees, somewhere they're not even from. Straight bill with the sticker still on it. So.
Got it. Okay.
But we're not here to talk about southeastern Ohio white trash.
Hillbillies.
We're here to talk to Mr. Trace Beaulieu, best known probably for Cinematic Titanic and Mystery Science Theater 3000. But you've done stuff other than that.
Yes. We spoke a bit in the break about my book, my kids' book. It's called Silly Rhymes for Belligerent Children. Len Peralta has done all the illustrations. You might know Len from the Geek a Week series that he's done online, covering a lot of famous geek and nerd culture. So you can find his stuff at, I think it's lenperalta.com, perhaps?
I believe that's right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did this book a couple of years ago, and it was a great deal of fun. It's gotten great reviews, and it's for the right people. It's not for everybody, but it's silly, and it's got a lot of there's hard words, and then there's easy words, and there's gross stuff. So everything a kid likes.
Nice.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the old Grimm fables, where people kind of forget how disgusting like Cinderella and stuff like that used to be, but like you got like monsters and death, and you don't shy away from some of the darker jokes, but it's still entertaining, and it's still cute, and it's still quirky that you can share with a child. So,
yeah, I think so. It's the kind of book that I would have liked to have had when I was a kid. I was very heavily influenced by Charles Addams cartoons and Dr. Seuss, of course. Those are the first books that I was allowed to take out of the library. So Charles Addams is a huge influence on my humor. Just a dark but not dangerous, I think, when I think of his stuff. And then, of course, Mad Magazine. Another rite of passage. Every kid's got to read Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
So it's aimed at that kid. It's belligerent but harmless, with a quirky sense of humor.
I don't know. I think this time you may have out-goried Edward Gorey. It's pretty dark.
There's some. Well, yes, I guess it does end up badly for some of the children, eaten by a tiger or killed in sledding accidents. But some of them are autobiographical. The one about the sledding, although none of my friends were seriously injured, we did actually have a sledding hill in a graveyard in our neighborhood that I could see from my bedroom window. So it was a perfectly art-directed kind of thing.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, we had a toboggan run down. It's like you got to aim, don't hit a tombstone as you're going down this steep hill. And, you know, sanctioned and supervised by the adults. So, you know, those were the good old days when their PC didn't exist.
Reminds you of the old Saturday Night Live gag where they had the bag of glass toy.
Bag
It's
of
like
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a bag of glass.
Yeah.
It's just a miracle that anyone born before like 1990 ever survived to see their 10th birthday. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Dangerous
crazy.
stuff.
Because I remember I actually used to have an old Dukes of Hazzard General Lee pedal car, and it actually had a steering mechanism and everything. And I used to take it down these hills, and then one time the tie rod broke in it, so like the wheels just started going wherever they wanted, and I literally almost killed myself. Like I just rolled the General Lee. It was like something straight out of the show. It was great. And like by the time I got down, I was like, "Let's do it again." And my mom's like, "No, maybe we shouldn't."
Well, you're always given one as a kid. One of the things with regards to the book and the content slightly pushing the edge with any sort of like scary note or whatever is when I was a kid that the stuff that stands out was the heavy metal magazine or Cracked or Mad, stuff that did actually kind of push the limit. And even Super Fudge, which was a huge one to me, I loved those, and those felt like I was reading like teenager books.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that stuff, you kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily challenging the kid, but it's kind of showing them something they haven't seen, and that doesn't happen often now.
Yeah, it's a little peek into what they can look forward to without being too dangerous.
Yeah.
And I purposely put in things that kids would have to look up. Some of the words, like all of the diseases that your pets may or may not acquire. I purposely did that to challenge kids to look stuff up, because you know once you get into a dictionary or an encyclopedia, you're going to keep looking around, and I think that's just a good thing. Exploring the world and looking at stuff, figuring out how things are made, is all valuable if you're a kid. And then you know you can just read it because those are funny words.
Right. I love this. I love that. My comic is a kid's comic, so it's like you want to keep them interested, but you also you don't pander.
Well, yeah, you don't want to talk down to them because kids are smart. I mean, think back when we were all kids. I mean, we sought out that weird stuff, you know, comic books and all of that stuff, superhero stuff, sci-fi, horror. I don't think any of that is a bad place to explore, unless you know the state of comic books now, you might be able to find something that's pretty disgusting. But
well, I mean, unfortunately, in the 90s there was a movement towards that, or at least there was a couple popular series out there. Not the least of which was the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine, which totally taps into this, where it's just scary enough for kids. It's not Stephen King scary, which is where I started my love of reading.
Yeah.
But it's very accessible. It's fun, even though it's dark. But even that, unfortunately, because of PC, got quashed. So it seems like right now there's kind of a vacuum for that kind of dark humor and darker stories that for kids.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't aware of that, but you know, there's always a backlash to stuff like that. I mean, I loved reading all those early EC comic books that were just, you go back and look at them, like they're so beautiful, but they're really horrific. But I mean, that didn't really warp me in too bad a fashion. But yeah, I think kids are pretty smart. They know where the limits are.
And I think I find that when you get kids that can express themselves in those darker tones, tend to be like some of the better, more well-adjusted people growing up. Because I know, like, they always say, like, makeup effects artists, like the guys that go and do the zombie movies, or like the guys that, like the Wes Cravens, the John Carpenters, and stuff like that. They deal with these really terrible things, but then, like, they express that, but in their personal life, they're like the nicest, kindest people. They're the gentlest. They let that part of their human nature out in constructive, creative ways, rather than pinning it up and letting it explode in negative ways.
Yeah, no, I would agree. My friend Chris Ballas, who is a award-winning special effects makeup artist, who worked on, I don't know if we've talked yet about the Frank video, but he did the special effects makeup for that film. And he is kind of squeamish when it comes to real blood. But he makes these really awesome monster effects and blood effects and bullet, all that stuff of all that genre. But just the sweetest guy. So yeah, exactly.
Very cool. So aside from the children's books, educating them in dog diseases and such, believe you have some comic projects, honest to God comic projects happening.
Woohoo!
They're not my projects, but I just had the honor of interviewing Rick Remender and Tony Moore for their project, The Fear Agent, which Dark Horse is releasing Volume 2 of the compilation book. So I interviewed them by email. So. But I've got a project called. Now, remind me. This is several days ago. Did we talk about the Frank? Did we?
We talked about it off the air.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, we need to talk about the Frank.
Please.
The Frank is a music video that stars Frank Conniff and myself and Dave Gruber-Allen. Also Mary Jo Pehl from Mystery Science Theater and Cinematic Titanic, and Bill Corbett from Mystery Science Theater and Rifftrax, and a bunch of other people that you might recognize. And it's a kind of a goofy music video tribute to Frank, and Frank plays sort of a monster creature, and I play kind of a Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein. So it's kind of that mad scientist. And
you keep talking. You keep talking because I want to hear about it.
It's that classic mad scientist and assistant kind of, or bumbling assistant kind of relationship. But this is a musical. It's a tribute to rebuilding Frank. So it's kind of odd. It's called The Frank, and we all do. It's a song and dance. It's sort of Busby Berkeley meets Jack Davis. I wanted to pull together as many of the old Mystery Science Theater people, both on camera and off. Bees McKeever, who you'll remember as being Steffi on the Mystery Science Theater. She was also in the art department, costume department. She's behind the scenes and also in front of the camera as a cardboard robot, so you don't really get to see too much of her. But it's about 10 minutes long. It's a music video. It'll be out on DVD with a bunch of other strange extras, some interviews and things like that. And digitally, it will be available as well, probably on YouTube or similar kind of thing. Now
you're going to be debuting it.
Well, Frank and I hope to go to London next month for Sci-Fi London. They're doing a crowdsourcing fundraiser to get us over there because they don't have any money. And hope to show the Frank there. It'll be the London premiere of The Frank.
That's glamorous. I love it.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Now, who wrote the music for it? Was that like, did you write that, or did you collaborate with someone? Or?
I wrote the lyrics, and Gary Rue, who's in Minneapolis, wrote the music, and he was in bands over the course of decades. Rue Nouveau and the Sleepers, and he's an award-winning musician in the Minneapolis area. He wrote the music, and we got just a really great group of musicians together, rock and roll band with sax, and it's pretty good tune. Very fortunate to work with Gary on that.
Outstanding.
Lucky.
I know we're all excited to hear that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it's
Very
a big, sprawling, very silly production number.
Well, you mentioned the Busby Brook, so I'm assuming there's going to be like water involved.
Not that grand. I wish we could have done the whole, or from the ceiling with the patterns of dancers on the floor. But, we didn't get that crazy.
Okay, all right. Next time around.
You got to understand that we're all old too. So when I talked to the choreographer, I said we need to look like we know how to dance, but none of us can probably hold our arms over our heads. So take that into consideration.
For long, at least.
Yeah. I could CG all that in, but we don't have the money for that.
Damn.
What if you got puppeteers and you were the puppets?
Ooh.
Just
There are puppets in this production as well. I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a little bit of everything in here.
Nice.
This is
You should have just written that down as another one of Ed's shitty ideas that you might use.
Yeah, I would never use an idea like that.
Gosh, Ed, why don't you just shut up? And in fact, your shtick should be lots of shit ideas. Just start spraying them out.
Wait a minute. How do you spell coccyx?
How do you spell coccyx? C-O-X-I-X-I-X.
Yeah, because I've seen some of the production pictures, because you were tweeting some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I saw pictures with like you and Gruber and Bill Corbett and those guys, and the costumes look great. And when I saw it, I was freaking out because I thought I missed it, and I was looking everywhere online, and all I could find was like people doing some crazy dance, like some hip hop dance called the Frank. Like I was so let down. I was like, where is it? And I was like, oh God, and I thought it was me. So it's good to know that it's not really out there yet. But
it'll be up soon. I'll put up the trailer we did for it for London. I'll put that up on YouTube in the next few days.
Nice.
So you can get a little bit of a taste. It's just a 30-second spot, but gives you a little of the flavor.
Nice.
And speaking of, when is TraceBlue.com going to be done with its construction?
What's that?
Your website, like it seems like it's been under construction for a while now. I'm not saying you should get it done. I'm just wondering when it's going to be done.
Oh, well, the beauty of just saying it's under construction means you never have to commit to anything.
It's on hold.
Yeah. Hopefully with the release of this video, it'll all come together, and there'll be a place where you can go and look at all the stills and stuff from the production. And but yeah, that's one of those things where you go, with Facebook and now with Google Plus, do you really need a website?
That is a very valid question. Yeah.
And I would say yes.
I would say yes. I would say
Especially
yes. That's where you brand yourself.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the home of you.
I like that. The home.
But
What a shitty idea, Mike. What are you taking?
You guys better stay out of Hollywood. This is clearly not for you.
but I will say one thing though, is if you are interested in the Silly Rhymes book, that is one thing you can get at TraceBlue.com. If you go there, there is a link, and you can buy your own copy. What is it, $19.95, and you'll ship it to them and everything?
Yes, and if you buy it from my website, there's a spot on the order thing. If you want it signed, I'll sign it for you at no extra expense. Or you can buy it through Amazon or ThinkGeek.
Excellent.
If you don't want me touching it.
What is this, spaghetti?
Yeah. How come Pages don't open. I don't know.
This.
Like some kind of potato on here, I think.
There's an onion peel in my book. What is this?
You smell this. Does this smell like
It
onion?
smells like musk and fireplace.
Yeah. I wanted you to sign it, not press food into it.
I signed it while I was eating.
Yeah, that's my signature. The squished onion is my signature.
I call it. Does yours smell like an Italian sub? Mine smells like an Italian sub.
But that's half the fun, because then you can trade with your friends. It's like, ooh, I got Italian sub. I got marinara. Let's trade.
Ooh.
Yeah, what's better than scratch and sniff than the real odor?
That's right.
A smelly book.
Yeah. Oh, hey, smelly rhymes. There you go.
There's the sequel.
Yeah, and there's a little scratch and sniff on each rhyme.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
do
probably
kids still
another
feel
stupid
that?
idea.
Do kids still feel that? Because I was crazy for scratch and sniff.
I don't know. The company that does that, I think, is here in Minnesota.
Wow.
It used to be called Mellow Smello.
I think you're right. Yeah.
You need to go like throw your weight around.
Yeah. I need a book. Okay, here's. I need what's a diseased rabbit smell like? I need that. Smell.
Well, you know, what could be
Gunpowder. That would be an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sulfur.
Vomit.
Just everything smells like. It just all smells like sulfur when you get down to
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Now, I want to end with one question here, because I think a lot of people would probably be upset if I didn't ask this. Now that Cinematic Titanic is wrapped up, has there been any talk of you joining Rifftrax the next time you go out to the West Coast, or maybe possibly doing something with them?
Actually, Rifftrax is from. They operate out of Minnesota.
Oh, do they? I thought they were out in San Diego.
Dude,
Mike is back in Minneapolis, so.
Nice.
I saw those guys all at Christmas time at a party. So I don't know. They certainly have a great thing going, and I've turned them down in the past, so I don't know if that lets me back on their list. But
Well, you had a
that
good
makes them
excuse.
crazy for you. It makes them crazy for you.
yeah, that's it. That's like
Play
hard to
cool.
get. Yeah, he's playing hard to get. So maybe that was 5 years ago. Maybe it's.
So,
But I don't know. I love what those guys do, and I don't know if I would want to taint their riffing or riff their taint. If you,
Oh! Damn! It was right in front of all of us.
that's why he's the pro. That's why he's the
Yeah,
pro,
it's just-
right there.
Oh. Well played.
Oy.
Yeah,
Well,
no one's writing that one down.
Yeah. We have ours on tape.
We're gonna base our whole next show around that one joke.
That's how we do it here.
Yeah. It's T-shirts
Yeah.
galore. I see
Hey,
T-shirts.
Someone is doing that somewhere. If you can think of it, someone's already tired of doing it.
That's
Yeah, you're right.
sure
Potentially.
feels that way.
He's got to make
Well-
a bigger noise. That's all.
yeah.
Well, I think now would probably be a good time to wrap it up. I don't think we can top riffing taint. So,
Do you feel as though you've said everything you need to say? Is there anything
Yeah,
left
is
in
there-
you? Have we?
is there a parting
I
message?
think I
Or
have. No, this has been great, guys, and a whole lot of fun. Thank you for having me, Ed and Mike and Carl. It's been great to come into your homes through this thing.
The
Yes.
future box.
Yeah, the everything machine.
And I'll tell you, you are always welcome back here. As long as we're doing a show, if you ever have anything you want to talk about, you need to get off your chest, want to talk about Star Trek or Star Wars, we're your huckleberries.
Okay,
Right.
Cool, man.
Oh, or we could be the pulse. You could tell us what you're doing, and we could tell the world, and then bam, it's fame
We'll
and
be-
fortune for all
We'll
of
be
us.
your hype team. We'll be your Flavor Flav.
Cool.
That's it.
Well, this has been fun. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, cool. Well, yeah, that's I'm spacing out and just loving on love.
You're being the straight guy. You're being the straight man.
Yeah, Carl.
If you did like today's show, or even if you didn't, let us know. You can always contact us through the Republicom. Our email is voiceofrep@gmail.com. We accept MP3, WAV files, any popular audio file, or you can just send us a regular text email. Please no unlicensed music in there because YouTube doesn't like it. Or you can call us on 407-409-8749. Long distance charges do apply. It's not an 800 number, and there is a 2-minute limit, but go ahead and give us a call there. And VORradio.com will keep you up to date on all of our happenings and give you all that information I just went over in case I went over it a little too fast for you.
That's right. And also a link to subscribe on YouTube. We like that. If you do check in on YouTube, go ahead and leave us a review. Go for it. Let us know exactly what you feel.
And if you're listening on the audio, be sure to hit our website so you can see the links to all the great stuff that Trace talked about today. His projects with Frank, his book, everything. We'll have all the links over there. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, it should be in the information below. So
That's down there, yo.
Well,
yes.
Well done. If you don't know what below means,
Read
here's
a
a
book.
link to Merriam-Webster.com. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, once again, it was a pleasure having you, Mr. Trace Beaulieu, on
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We will be back next week, so until then, may the Force be with
That ass.
Oh, share note. Oh.
Ow.